Hey, sister friends. Welcome back to Women Around the Well, where we gather with grace, grit, and a whole lot of Godfidence. If you're new here, we're so glad you found your way to this space. And if you're a regular, welcome home. Today is extra special because we're not just sipping living water, we're sharing the well with a guest whose voice, story, and wisdom are a gift. You know how we do it around here. Real talk, deep faith, and a reminder that broken doesn't mean done. So grab your journal, your coffee, or maybe just a quiet corner and get ready to lean in. You're about to be encouraged in a big way.
Okay, today on Women Around the Well, we're sitting down with Shellie Kemp, Freedom and Care Pastor of Christ Fellowship, Port St. Lucie, and a woman with a powerful story of redemption. From a childhood marked with dysfunction to a life that's been transformed by Jesus. Shelley's journey reminds us that no one is too far gone for God's grace. She's sharing today about her surrender, identity, and what it really means to walk in freedom. This one's raw, hope-filled, and full of truth. So go ahead, pull up your seat, sis, and let's dive in. Okay. Welcome, friend. I am so glad that you are here.
Me too. Thank you so much, Jenny, for having me.
I love it. So, this is actually our first interview we're doing for the podcast. So, everybody give Shellie a huge round of applause.
No, let's give Jenna and Women Around the Well a huge round of applause. This is going to be so amazing how it's going to impact so many women. I'm so excited.
Thank you. As you know, Shellie and I have been friends for over a decade. Gosh, I think probably a lot longer, but we have walked through some stuff. We walked through some trenches. I told somebody on Sunday, I said, they were asking about the podcast, and they said, wow, it feels like you're speaking from a position of like experience, not just theory or concept. I said, oh no. I have been in the trenches. I am so dirty. I'm still dusty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've been
Myself.
there.
And they're done that.
Been there, done that. So, Shellie, will you introduce yourself and we are going to jump in? I have some questions for you today to share with the listeners.
I would love to. Thank you for asking. So, hello, my name is Shellie, and I am a grateful believer in Jesus. And God has redeemed me from many different things. My top would be a lifetime of dysfunction, starting back from when I was a child, extreme anxiety, people pleasing, spinning thoughts, and there was a season of suicidal thoughts as well. Hello, my name is Shellie.
Thank you for sharing. I love that you are always so open and honest and raw because so many women listening are going to relate and understand and have actually walked that walk, are in that season right now, or have thought those thoughts themselves. So today's episode is all about freedom, is breaking free of those limiting beliefs, those negative thought process, those things that the enemy tries to take us out in our youth and in the dysfunction. And how do we process and work through that? So, Shellie, you're now the Freedom and Care Pastor over there at Christ Fellowship, but you've shared that you really, we had conversations that never really imagined being in that role. So, can you take us back to what life looked like before that calling actually came?
Oh my gosh, I would love to. Thank you for asking. It's only by the grace of God that I am able to say that I serve, that I get to serve as a freedom and care pastor here at Christ Fellowship. I actually, as I said, he has redeemed me from a lifetime of dysfunction, many wrong choices, many different things. And actually, in 2020, I began to go through a season of mental health challenges. And I started experiencing anxiety on a level that I had never experienced it before. I always had anxiety to some degree, but this was different. This was anxiety that the enemy was trying to take me out, and he was doing a good job at it. I started to experience panic attacks that I had never experienced that before. And so as a result of these things, I actually ended up going to the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack. And in those moments when I went to the hospital, the Lord clearly spoke to me and said, go to Celebrate Recovery. And I was like, well, what do you mean go to Celebrate Recovery? Isn't that for those people? I'm not one of those people. So at the time, I called the pastor who was looking after our Celebrate Recovery ministry and I said, hey, I'm struggling with some anxiety. Is that what this ministry is for? And he's like, well, I've heard that it can help some people that are struggling with that. Why don't you just come and check it out? So I did that very following Monday because the Lord told me to. Came walking in the front doors with my mask on. And I remember seeing our campus pastor at the time at the front door walking in and making eye contact with him and just having so much shame and embarrassment because I couldn't get it together. Like I felt like I was spiritually mature enough. I had been walking with the Lord for a season that I should have been able to get this anxiety and panic attacks under control because, like, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean on your own understanding, right? And I was doing that, but the physical anxiety was going through my veins so much that, like, I just couldn't get it together. So as I walked into Celebrate Recovery, like I didn't even want to breathe the same air as people. This was a season of COVID, right? Like we had
Mhm.
life had changed dramatically. You know, we went through a season, we weren't going to church, like things were much different. And so as I was coming, I thought I was just walking in the doors with anxiety. But as I sat in these groups, I quickly was able to identify, oh, I have codependency issues. Oh, I have people pleasing issues. Oh, I have trust issues. Oh, that's right. I have past abuse issues. Oh, and so all of these different things that these other women who were around the well, right? Just like you
Yes.
podcast, all these other women who were sharing from some from a place of victory, some from a place of still struggle and raw. It helped me to identify that I wasn't the only one. And so what I did was I just kept coming back despite the fact that I was struggling. Little did I know that the Lord was preparing me, right? Right there in the trenches of my junk. But every single week, every single Tuesday, I kept coming back and the Lord began to heal me. I kind of describe it as my entire life, I have been walking around just with a smile on my face, despite the fact that, like, I was struggling secretly. Like, I would smile and say, yeah, everything's good because I'm a people pleaser.
Mm.
And it's kind of like your rug at your front door. Like you can see, like you vacuumed it. Maybe you didn't actually pick the rug up. And then you pick your rug up and you're like, oh, it's dirty under
And
there.
you shake it off and
Yes.
all that
And you're like,
stuff.
"Oh my gosh." And that was me. Like, I had been walking around just pushing through, but I had never actually turned over and surrendered all of my hurt, trauma, my stuff to the Lord that I had been through in my life. And that's what Celebrate Recovery did. And once I finally did that, it was a year later that I came on staff here at Christ Fellowship. But I had to go through the healing to allow the Lord to reveal to me and to provide the healing in order to kind of get to this place. So that's a long explanation and there's a lot more to it, but
I
that's how
love it.
that's how I came on staff was going through the process.
Well, I think if you're listening to this and you are in these seasons, I want you to hear the hope
Mhm.
in Shelley's story, but also there's something key that you shared, Shelley, is that the humility, the humbleness. You got to the end of your rope where you
Oh,
felt like you were just hanging on by a thread. And
not
you
sure I was even hanging on, Jenna. I was in a puddle. I was a wreck.
and that's hard to be in, but I can tell you walking through life stuff, and I think maybe you would agree on the other side, it's the best place to be because
Oh,
there's nowhere else to go but up, and
no.
you have to reach out. And
Yeah.
so Jesus meets you right in the middle of our mess, right? He doesn't ask us to clean our stuff up. He doesn't say, hey, go clean up, wash your face, get all pretty, put that makeup on, put those eyelashes on just right. He doesn't require any of the hair extensions or any of the fluff. He just says, come to me just
Yes.
as we are. And so, and you were humble enough in those seasons to one, recognize it, to not try to do it on your own because we know we're not called to isolate. I think that's the biggest thing that we could all agree on is that season of the in the global pandemic was isolation. And that is one of the greatest weapons the enemy can do for the world is to isolate individuals because we were created for fellowship. We were created for community. We were created for sisterhood. We've been created to come around the well together to learn and to grow and to laugh and to do life together. So I'm incredibly proud of you for doing the things and stepping out. So you mentioned something interesting and I really loved it because I know a lot of people think that sometimes healing is instant.
Mhm.
But often it's a daily surrender. And so you did the things you needed to do. You worked on you. A year later, you came on staff. Ta da! All well, all roses, no bumps in the road.
Mm-mm. No, I wish I could actually say that that's the case, and I didn't become a pastor right when I came on staff, just to clarify that. I came on staff as a freedom and care coordinator, but immediately starting to work in Celebrate Recovery and in freedom and care here. I say that, and I also model it in myself because I am in recovery. And honestly, we all are in recovery. It doesn't matter whether you're in recovery for chemical dependency or mental health, relationships, self-esteem issues, shopping, whatever it is. Recovery is not a it's not a race that we get to a finish line and we go, "Okay, I finished the race. I get first trophy, that's first place, second place, third place." And then I don't have to prepare for anything. Like, we have to continuously chase after our recovery, or it's going to chase after us. So we have a choice on how we do that. And I do too. It doesn't matter who we are. None of us are negated from the fact that we have to be intentional to seek the Lord every single day, to be intentional about doing a daily inventory about today, how did I respond to this situation? Today, how could I have improved in these ways in my relationship with my family, in my career, in the conflicts? Did I act in a way that was appropriate? Or did I put my foot in my mouth, you
Did
know?
I lose my stuff?
Yeah. Did I? Yeah. Right. Did I lose my
Mhm.
cookies?
Yes. I heard somebody say once, "I lost my Jesus." I was like, "Oh, I don't know, you will never lose Jesus, but I
Yeah.
get it, driving in traffic here sometimes in South Florida."
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah. No, so it is a daily evaluation of not only an evaluation of, but a daily intentionality of make sure that that's a priority. Because I think that I tell people all the time that, like, listen, if you see me walking through the halls and I look like I am getting cocky, or I think that like this title of mine is bigger than me, like, dude, just trip me. Just trip me. Take me out from underneath me and just trip me, because I can guarantee that the Lord is gonna trip me harder. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And honestly, I don't ever want that. Like, I wanna make sure that I have a humble heart, that I'm
yes.
seeking the Lord, and that's just really important for our lives, and that we model that as Christian women.
I think that's important to reiterate is that you can get in your flesh and the
Mhm.
awards and the accolades and the titles, they can feel really great. And I'm like, oh, I'm being seen. I'm being recognized. And for some of us, it's the very first time because it's felt like we've been unseen. We've been invisible, especially as stay-at-home moms or just women as a whole. We could talk onto that. But the reality of it is, we're never abandoned or rejected or left behind. He always sees us, he's right with us. So it's who are we doing whatever, fill in the blank, for? Like,
Yes.
and we always want to do it unto the Lord.
What's my purpose? What's my why behind this?
Mhm.
And Jenna, one of the things that I have always struggled with is feeling unworthy.
Mm.
Always struggled, and I still do, and that's one of the things that the Lord still works on me with, is feeling unworthy. I feel unworthy even of being a pastor, and so making sure that I am intentional about, what is my why behind doing what I'm doing, like, for that people pleasing piece, right? Like, making sure that I go, "Lord, this isn't so that I can feel better about myself, or I'm helping that person so that people could say, 'Oh, look what Shellie has done to help them.'" Like, I wanna give all the honor and glory to him.
Mhm.
I wanna make sure it's that I'm pointing people to Jesus, right? Not pointing them to Shelley, not pointing them to even to the church, right? We always wanna point them to Jesus, in
Mhm.
every single way, because otherwise, like, that unworthiness will cause me to elevate myself above him. And
100%. And we know about the 18-inch journey. We have done a lot of training on that, right? So you get all this head knowledge, and it could be biblical, it could be scriptural knowledge, which is fantastic. I mean, it's amazing to know on page 27 on line 5 is a whatever. I'm
yeah,
not that girl,
yeah.
but I am that girl that's gonna get in the trenches with you, that's gonna dust I'm gonna hold your hair back if you need it. I'm gonna bring you whatever kind of pads you need.
Those armpit pads I've recently found out about are amazing.
Okay, we're gonna have a whole other episode about these armpit pads because Easter Sunday, I was floored. I had never heard of
Oh,
these
yeah.
before.
They're amazing. Yeah.
So we'll have to have a link.
Sweat in your armpits, girls, let me tell you.
She's got it. So Shellie probably will have an affiliate link for these armpit pads. She'll be happy to share it with you. But seriously, I love where our conversation is going because this is one of my favorite people on the planet. So if you're listening, this is somebody who has been in the trenches with me, who has walked through fire with me, who has pointed me back to Jesus, reminded me that despite the life circumstances or the things happening, that recovery is not a bad word. So
Right.
this is not actually a question that I had written down, but I'd like to tackle that because I know I was in the same boat when I started coming to Celebrate Recovery. We have been in recovery. We've done marriage recovery for years. We counseled with addicts of all different things. And that's another like bad word, right? You think it's, I'm not that person, but we all have something that we're recovering from. So how would you speak to the woman who's listening that is just hearing recovery and in her like her gut reaction, she might be thinking, I'm not that girl. I'm not addicted to sex or pornography. I'm a good girl. I do what I'm supposed to do. I don't spend too much money at Target. Like,
Yeah. No,
I
I
only get
totally
one drive-through caffeinated drink a day, whatever, like the gambling, the whatever fill in the blank that you think recovery means.
Yeah, I was the same way. I remember being in the room and just being like, I can't believe I'm in a recovery room. I don't even want to put my name on this name tag. But recovery has helped me to be, and I'm going to say this, and it's helped me to be a better version of myself. It has helped me to communicate better. It's helped me to identify my triggers. It's helped me to be a better wife, a better mother, a better daughter, a better friend. Helped me to find my people. Those people that I didn't think were my people are my people, and I am those people. We have here at our Christ Fellowship Celebrate Recovery, we have 9 different lady groups. We have mixed issues, A to Z, which is literally A to Z, anything from A to Z. We have abuse survivors. We have food issues, self esteem. We just started a spiritual purity group. We have chemical dependency. We have anxiety, codependency, fear. We have a Spanish speaking A to Z group. We have everything. We have a newcomers group. So when you come and you don't know, we have newcomers. And I like to say that you are ridiculously in charge of your own recovery. And so what that means is that, like, if one night you come and you're struggling with maybe anxiety, you go to an anxiety group. If another night you might be just, struggling with relationships, then you go to the relationship group where, where you're struggling A to Z. I would say that I believe firmly that every single person at the church should be and celebrate recovery because we celebrate how God helps us to recover. That's what it
Yes.
and truly, it is where I learned to extend grace to myself. I was so good at extending it to everybody else. Oh, let's be kind because of this and let's be kind. But I was so hard on myself and, had these expectations of what I should be. Again, going back to that unworthy, right? That I had this, although I had on the exterior that everything was all good, inside, I was struggling so much. And again, Celebrate Recovery helped me to do that. And so, because of how it's helped me personally, I just feel and I know that no matter what somebody walks in with, I know that I know that I know that I know that the Lord has a victory for them on the
100%.
other side of their struggle, whatever the struggle is.
Whatever, because it says in the Bible, it says God works it all out for our good, for those who love him. I like to capitalize the ALL. That
Bold,
means
highlighted.
all big, bold, highlighted, italic, underline it, because it means all things,
Mhm.
even the crappy stuff, especially the hard things, the relationships, the complicated people, all the things that maybe aren't rosy and don't smell so good and they're hard to walk through. There's something in it for you in the long run. I heard once the line that says, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you.
Mhm.
And I think that's like a paradigm shift in our thinking. So if you're listening and you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, I'm not one of those, do you have anything that's getting in the way of your relationship with the Lord?
Yeah.
That's something that is
Well,
going to hinder your relationship that you're going to stumble over and that you might need to have some healing and recovery in.
well, and the other thing too is that every relationship, there's a common denominator. us, right? We bring
Yes.
in every single relationship. So some people, I hear them say, especially as a care pastor here, I don't understand why this keeps happening. Well, have you done anything to change or to recover from how you're responding, reacting in the relationships that you have, right? If you haven't done
Mhm.
anything to learn different, to heal,
You're just gonna repeat the cycle,
do this repeated.
right?
Yeah.
I literally just told somebody yesterday this, that wherever you go, you are still there. You
Yeah.
wake up, you're there. You leave, you're there. You come, you go, there you are.
There you
So
are.
that you're still there. So the best thing you can do for you is to work on you and your relationship with the Lord. So,
Absolutely.
all right. I have just a couple more questions
Ah,
for you. I know that we're going to run out of time. So we are definitely going to do this again.
okay.
We can dive deep into several different topics, but you
Love
have
it.
3 boys. So let's talk to the mamas that are listening. And now you have a daughter in love,
Yes.
right?
I
So
do.
what does it mean for your family and how do you stay grounded in the middle of all the life demands and ministry? Can you
Oh,
speak to those women that are listening?
I absolutely can. So our family is our first ministry. I believe that with all my heart.
Mhm.
So one of the things that very early on, and as I became a Christian, I have not been a Christian my whole life. I've been following Jesus for it's been 15 years. And that's a whole nother
That's another series.
yes. So when I first started following Jesus, I dove in the deep end, head first. And when I did that, I was my people pleasing, of course, as well, was a struggle. This was before I was in recovery. I was yesing of course, I wanted to do everything, everything for everybody. And especially when it came to anything related to Jesus and ministry and serving. And somebody told me, a very wise woman told me, Shellie, you are going to overextend yourself and you need to watch the things that you say yes to. And I was like, well, what do you mean? I'm loving to do this. And so I have learned that every yes comes with a no. And I have to be very intentional about the things that I say yes to. And so, one of the very practical ways that I do that is anytime anybody asks me a question, rather than just saying yes or saying no, let me check my schedule.
Mm.
Thank you so much for asking me, Jenna.
Mhm.
Let me check my schedule. If I can do that, I will let you know and get back to you. And that gives me an opportunity to pause, to pray, to respond, and not to react, right? That gives me an opportunity to actually check my schedule. I mean, it's not a lie. I am checking my schedule, but it gives me an opportunity to check with my husband, to check with my boys, to check and make sure that I have space to allot to make sure that I'm giving my best yes. And,
Mhm.
and that's what's so important because I want to make sure that my family gets my best yes. I want to make sure that my church family gets my best yes. And sometimes those no's allow for a best yes, right? Because if we just yes to everybody, there's so many things that I want to say yes to, but I just don't have the space to. I don't have the capacity to. And that's okay. That's okay. Because the other thing that I have learned is that if I'm saying yes to everything, right? And it's very easy to just to ask the person that says yes to do it rather than
Mhm.
if I,
Especially if they're really good at it, which
yeah,
you are.
right, right. But if I'm doing that, like for me as a leader at the church, if I know that, hey, I can just come to Jenna and ask her, and I'm just, Jenna, Jenna. But it's not given the opportunity for the next person who's waiting to be,
Mhm.
if I've just asked the person that's just going to yes everything. And so that's one of the things that's really helped me to stay grounded because I have a tendency to overextend myself with that people pleasing, codependent nature that I continually work on in my recovery to stay grounded and make sure that my family stays healthy. And that really helps me a lot.
Mm, I love it. I think it's really important because Lisa Turkhurst wrote a book called The Best Yes. If you
Mhm.
are listening to this and you have not heard it or read it, I would highly recommend go to Amazon, Audible, wherever you need to go, grab that. It is such a freeing thing to learn how to say no to some things because it frees you up to say yes to God's best.
Absolutely. Exercising that no muscle.
And you have to work it out because you're so used to saying yes to everyone and everything. So, all right. Well, let's wrap it up with some wisdom. All
Okay.
right. So, we've been speaking today to the women around the well who are coming, that are hurting, that are broken, that are burdened. They could be feeling like they're behind, that they haven't accomplished the things that they thought they would, or they're not where they want to be, or they're too far gone in wherever they're at. Maybe they're just hearing the words recovery for the first time, or what that looks like. So, what would you say to the women that are listening right now who feels that she feels like she's too far gone, that she's too broken, she's too burdened, or
Mm.
she feels like she's too far behind?
Yeah. Oh boy. Can I relate to that? I relate to that so much. So, first off, I can promise you that your victory is around the corner. Don't give up.
Mm,
And just to give you another tidbit of my own testimony, I didn't start attending, not that college is your, your foundation of a victory or non-victory, but I just want to give you perspective. I didn't start attending college until I was 28. I started the lower, and it was after a season of getting fired. This is right before I got to know the Lord. I got fired from a job. So I started attending college. And then 12 weeks prior to, and this is going to lead us into the next season.
into the next episode.
We don't have time to go into all this, but this will be a teaser for the next. So then 12 weeks from graduating from college, I earned my associate's degree. I was working on my bachelor's degree. 12 weeks prior to graduating from college, I was sentenced with a felony charge.
Mm,
And that was in the season when I met Jesus. And my entire family came to know Jesus as a result of this season. This was my breakthrough. This was when I dove into the deep end of the pool and got to know the
mhm,
Lord in an extremely real way. And I thought that my life was over. This was a season that I was suicidal. And I thought I was too far gone, just too far gone. Fast forward to this 2020 season when this was also my season of, my mental health breakdown. The Lord told me to go back to college. And I had this conversation with them and saying, like, well, I can't go back to college because I have these charges. I can't do anything with this college. But in obedience to him telling me this, I went ahead and found a college, was able to go back and not having any intentions of doing anything with this degree because I'm too far gone. Just too
mm.
far gone. I'm too broken.
Too old?
Too old. Yes, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
call me too old? Okay,
No,
lady.
I'm not saying you're too old. I think you're fabulous. The best days are
We're
ahead of us,
friends or else I
girls.
would jump through this thing at you. Yeah, but just too far gone. So, I complete my degree in obedience to him, not knowing that the same week that I completed my degree was the same week that I started on staff here, and I needed that degree to complete it, but I didn't know that was his plans. You see, the beauty of it is that God is our author. He is
Mhm,
working all things out, just like we say, all things out according to his plan and his purpose. It's like if you watch a movie and it's a suspenseful movie, right? And in the middle of the movie, we're like, what's going to happen? Oh, oh, oh. But like if you've seen the movie, at the end of the movie, it's going to be a good ending, right?
mhm,
Same thing with our life, right? If we just trust the Lord with all of our heart, lean not on our own understanding, but in all of our ways acknowledge Him, He's going to lead our path straight. And if we take time every single day and we carve out the time and we get to know the Lord and we follow those nudges, those small whispers, He's going to lead us. And I can promise you, promise you, promise you, promise you, no matter how far gone you may think that you are, he has victory for you. It doesn't matter what you have done. It doesn't matter what your past says. It doesn't matter even what you're doing today. If you surrender, if you daily surrender and you give it to
mhm,
him, he will have victory for you. We don't know what exactly the timing is. I still don't know what his timing is and what his plan is, but I know that no matter what, I can trust him. I know no matter the outcome, I can trust him. And I say, Lord, my life is yours. And I know you're going to do a better job at it than I have and what I have done in the past. And Lord, I just want to be your humble vessel. And so to whoever the woman is, whoever, whatever they're going through, whatever they have been through, just trust them. no matter what, just trust him and just surrender your life to him fully.
Amen. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Shellie, for sharing today. As you got to hear, this is Shellie Kemp. She's the Freedom and Care Pastor over at Christ Fellowship in Port St. Lucie. And check out womenaroundthewell.com. You're going to get to see a speaker highlight for her, the things she loves. There's links, there's ways to connect, get more information from Shellie about Celebrate Recovery, the things she loves. Along with today's episode, you got me thinking, Shellie, we're going to have that DMI. It's a daily moral inventory checklist. So we're going to have that attached to the show notes. So you can find this podcast anywhere you can hear podcasts that you love to listen to it. Check out womenaroundthewell.com. And for sure, we will be having Shellie come back and we'll have part 2. We could run a whole series on this, friend.
Got lots of stories for you.
I love it. So I just want to remind you today, you are loved, you are known, you are seen, you are valued, and just know you are not alone. So welcome to Women Around the Well, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Good night and God bless.
Phew! Wasn't that just everything your heart didn't know it needed? I'm so grateful for this sacred space we got to share today with our guest. It's proof again that when women show up with honesty in heart, heaven leans in. If something stirred in you, write it down, pray it out, or text your best friend to listen too. Because let's be real, healing multiplies when we do it in community. And hey, if you're looking for more resources to help you walk this thing out, devotionals, journal prompts, or just a reminder that you're not alone, head over to womenaroundthewell.com. Everything we do is for you, the woman in the middle of the mess, the miracle, and the mission. Don't forget to share this episode with someone who needs the reminder that God is still in the business of redemption. It could be the nudge they've been praying for. We are women around the well, called, seen, known, and loved. God is still writing your story. And sister, He's not done yet. Until next time, keep showing up, keep drawing near, and stay rooted in the one who never runs dry.